Welcome to Holiday Let Insider, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the holiday letting industry. Brought to you by house planner and Sykes Holiday Cottages, this show is packed with expert insights, real-world strategies, and actionable advice to help you succeed as a holiday let host. I'm James Farley, the founder of House Planet, and in each episode, we'll dive into key topics like property management, guest experience, and revenue growth. And we'll be joined by industry experts who know what it takes to thrive in this sector. In today's episode, Claire Binns will discuss responsible holiday letting. Are you looking to take the hassle out of holiday letting while setting yourself up for success? With Sykes Holiday Cottages, you benefit from working with a team of real people with vast experience and knowledge, all providing a unique service to support you every step of the way. 11-time consecutive winners of the Best Large Company for UK Holiday Home Rentals at the British Travel Awards, Sykes uses industry-leading pricing systems, dedicated account management, and a network of more than 700 booking partners to help get the most out of your investment. Sykes aims to combine trusted experience with local expertise to help make your holiday let a success. Get in touch today to find out more. Head to sykescottages.co.uk/letyourcottage for further details. Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of Holiday Let Insider. Today's special guest is Claire Binns, the Senior Impact Manager at Sykes Holiday Cottages. How's it going, Claire?
Oh, it's going really well. It's a beautiful day here in Chester.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. So today we're going to discuss how to holiday let responsibly. So Claire, tell us what responsible holiday letting means to you.
So it's all about letting your property in a way that benefits guests, the environment and the community that your property is in. So for Sykes, for us, it's all about creating lasting holiday memories whilst having a positive impact on people and the planet. As an owner, that means minimising waste and energy use, being inclusive and accessible, and really making sure that you're a positive presence in the community.
Yeah, a net positive. It's something we talk about a lot, being a really good neighbour, because it really does count for a lot in this industry. How important is it to be a good neighbour, to be on terms if you're running a holiday let?
It's an incredibly important thing to be a good neighbour. And it's really important that you give your guests some really clear information on your house rules. I know that sounds a bit formal, but, just letting them know things about where to park, what's the situation with the bins. Parking and bins are one of the things that in everyday life are quite important to us as with our own neighbours, and just giving them the right information so that they can kind of live in harmony whilst they're on their holiday as well. And I think it's a really good idea to try and build up some trust with your neighbours. Go around and introduce yourselves. You might not actually live where your property is, but when you're there, just, pop in, let them know you're there. You can even give them contact details for your agent, so that if there are ever any issues, it might be when the property is empty. So if they've got that emergency contact number, then that could be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Putting a face to it is so important. And just sharing your number, just saying, look, if you need anything, give me a call, send me a text. And then they're much more likely to contact you rather than contacting the council, for example, if there is an issue.
And more often than not, you'll be able to sort that issue out as well. And so going beyond that, beyond your immediate neighbours, it's also about encouraging your guests to sort of discover the local community, the local shops, restaurants, pubs, events that might be going on, so that they can really put back while they're spending time there.
Definitely, yeah. And it all starts with, I think, excellent communication. Are you a holiday let owner, host, or property manager looking to grow your short-term rental business? If so, join Host Planner and Sykes Holiday Cottages for Holiday Let Success, a free one-day event on the 11th of November at One City Place in Chester, right inside Sykes HQ. You'll hear from industry experts, connect with top suppliers, and walk away with practical strategies to increase bookings, boost revenue, and streamline your operations. Tickets are completely free, but places are limited. Register now at houseplanner.club/events. Let's look at the kind of sustainable angle a bit then. So, what three things could owners do to cut both costs and their carbon footprint?
Sure. Really difficult to just think of three. So I probably will mention more because there's lots of quite easy ways that you can do this as well that people might not have necessarily linked up with. So yeah, it's about quite often reducing your environmental impact does come with the benefit of cost savings. And there's also the growing trend for travellers. They want to make sustainable travel choices. I think 93% of travellers in the most recent Booking.com environmental sustainable travel report said that they wanted to be able to do that. So some easy changes that you can make are things like switching to LED lighting. That saves you a lot of money on the running costs. Introducing a smart meter so that you can control the temperature levels, particularly when people aren't in your property, to minimise those bills there. Water saving devices are also another really great way that you can reduce your environmental impact and your emissions. So things like dual flush toilets, but also you can add a flow restrictor to your shower head. They cost a few pounds. They're pretty easy to install as well. And they can save up to 30 litres of water per shower. So most of us are on water meters these days. So that can have a huge positive impact. And then I think it's thinking of things like reducing single-use items. So if you're providing toiletries in your property, use refillables. Bulk buy cleaning products, preferably environmentally friendly cleaning products that don't have harsh chemicals in them. And investing in durable kitchenware. So maybe a slightly higher initial cost, but longer lasting, less waste. There's a multitude of other things that you can do as well. Things like just call your energy supplier and find out if you can get on a renewable tariff. They're quite often lower cost as well. And then if you're looking at investing in new appliances, look at more energy efficient appliances. I think if you're providing a tumble dryer, don't just do that. Think about an outdoor washing line as well. We've had some great weather this summer. There's been no need to use a tumble dryer. So if you just provide those options and make it easy for your guests to use less energy without telling them to, because we don't like to be told to do things, do we? But make things easy for people, then that has a really great impact as well.
Some brilliant sustainability tips there. Moving on to accessibility then. What are the basics that almost any home can add quickly? And how should these be described in listings so that people who need accessibility features can quickly realise that your property is suitable for them to visit?
Sure. So 1 in 4 people in the UK have a disability. So it's a really large group of people that all want to go on holiday. Visit England have actually produced some great research recently on accessibility features and a guide to those key features that people are looking for in self-catering accommodation. Again, they're not as onerous as you might think. So looking at the top ones there. So the first one is to have really dependable Wi-Fi. So, and anyone going on holiday these days wants that. And then we've got things like having a step-free shower or wet room. That's really important. A ground floor bedroom, ideally with an ensuite bathroom, but at least a ground floor bathroom as well. And then it's things like having a secure garden. So people that have got assistance animals, for example, knowing that they're going to be safe there. Then we need some step-free access to the property as well, preferably the main entrance. So that could be step-free or installing a simple ramp. And then another one that really surprised me was to have a floor plan of the property so that people can see that and judge for themselves if it's going to accommodate them and all of their needs. So really some quite simple things. Yes, there's lots of other things that you can do for people that do have more specific requirements. But these are really easy things that you can do, particularly if you've already got that ground floor accommodation within your property. And then again, it's thinking about the layout as well. So making sure that sort of main walkways are obstacle free, how you're laying out your the furniture in rooms to make sure that people that do have mobility requirements can sort of navigate your home in the same way that everyone else can. When it comes to describing these features, we can help with that if you're one of our Sykes owners. But I would say it's about being specific. So rather than just saying accessible, you might want to say that there are grab rails in the bathroom, in the shower cubicle, or that there might be one small step leading from one room to another. And as long as you're clear and include all of this information and completely transparent about it, then your potential guests can see that information and make that judgment themselves. Alongside the description, it's really important to have good photographs, particularly of bedroom and bathroom areas, again, so that guests can judge for themselves if that's going to fulfill their needs.
I love those tips because many properties will have those features already, but they might not have communicated them. So there's a lot of guests who will want to book their property, but might not necessarily know that their property is suitable. For neurodiverse guests, then, what are small design or comms tweaks that could reduce the sensory overload? And we're thinking here things like lighting, scents, visual guides, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the things that for neurodiverse guests, which is not something that you can do something about, is location. They quite often want to be in more remote places that without that kind of noise that can go around. However, there are lots of other really easy things that you can do to make sure that your property sort of caters for this group of people as well. So with lighting, it's about having dimmable, warm lights. So whether that's changing the types of light bulbs that you have or including lamps for people so that you don't just have that harsh overhead lighting. When you're thinking about decor, it's keeping some really nice, soft, neutral colours, not too many crazy patterns. And with fabrics, making sure they're sort of soft and comforting, no scratchy fabrics. In terms of cleaning and the sort of scents that you might have in your property, avoid any strong sort of air freshener type smells. Stick to nice, clean, neutral for your property there. And then you need to look at things like the guides that you might have as well in your property. So in your welcome pack, really simple, clear visual guides are great. So to show maybe for that step-by-step guide to your recycling, having really clear guides on how to use the different appliances that there might be, including information about local services and facilities. And it's actually a really good idea to provide this information before people get to your property. If you can provide it as a digital guide, then people can prepare. They've come armed with the knowledge there.
Fantastic. Yeah, digital guidebooks can be really, really useful in this regard. In terms of proving impacts then, especially when it comes to saving energy, how can owners measure and prove the impact without necessarily a load of extra admin?
Sure. Well, there's going to be a little bit of extra admin because, there is a bit of data gathering and analysis that you need to do to be able to get these proof points. But it's really easy to do. It's not that onerous. If you've got smart meters, particularly, really easy to get that information so that you can calculate the energy use per night of stay in your property. But if you don't have that, then just your energy and water bills are a really good place to start, looking at those quarterly bills and again, working out, what is the usage per night for your guests. You can drill down into doing it by guest if you know the number of people staying in your property, if you really want to go that far. So getting that baseline data, and then when you've made these changes, you'll be able to look back and see the impact that it's made, the energy that it's saving, the water that it's saving. Another thing that you can do is to look at your guest reviews, maybe search them for key phrases like sustainability or eco-friendly, so that you can see whether the efforts that you're making are being recognised and valued by your guests. And then once you've got this information, I think a really great way to kind of get that message out there is in your welcome guide to have a really nice, clear, simple infographic that shows the impact that's been made by guests.
Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant tips there. How should owners talk about the impact that they're making without it being greenwashing? And maybe at this point we should explain what greenwashing is.
Yeah, sure. So greenwashing really is when people tend to use quite general terms around their environmental and sustainable credentials without actually qualifying what it means. So using phrases like eco-friendly or environmentally friendly, there's actually nothing wrong with these phrases, but you just need to let people know what they mean. So if you've got an eco-friendly heating system, great. That's really good news. What does that mean? Does that mean that your supply is 100% renewable energy? Or does it mean that you've got solar panels installed? Or so what you need to do is when you use phrases like that is actually quantify what they mean, so that you're not just trying to say, yes, I'm really environmentally friendly, because it's a bit like, well, how are you? So telling people that you've got LED light bulbs installed, that you're using water saving devices, all of these things will tell people, the impact that you're making, the measures that you have taken.
Yeah, actually prove it. Don't just say, I'm eco-friendly without saying what you're doing to be eco-friendly.
Definitely. And I think the whole greenwashing, we're very conscious of it as a business. There's also another phenomenon called green hushing, where people are just a bit cautious about people thinking that they are greenwashing when actually they're doing really great things. So if you're doing this really good stuff, tell people about it. As long as you're authentic and you're doing what you say you're doing, then that's all good.
100%. Yeah, you've got to promote what you're doing. If you're doing some good stuff, tell other people about it, because it might encourage others to follow in your footsteps. Yeah. So tell us then, how does Sykes help hosts to be more responsible?
Sure. I mean, we help hosts to be more responsible in the same way that we help them with anything else with their holiday let. So if you go to our holiday let advice centre on our website, there's 2 really great articles on there. One is about having a more eco-friendly holiday let. With tons of information on there about how you can reduce energy use, reduce water use, have better waste and recycling systems, all of those really great things that reduce impact on the environment. And then the other one there is on accessible holiday letting. So how can you be a more inclusive and accessible holiday let? What easy changes can you make? What things might you already be doing that actually you need to let your holiday letting agent Sykes know are in your property, so that we can make sure that's included on the listing. So some really great advice there. If you're a Sykes owner as well, you have a account manager, someone that you can go to with any questions that you might have. And so your account manager will be able to signpost you to find the right information or put you in contact with experts. So we work with a huge range of external partners and managed services suppliers. So whether you're looking at installing an EV charging point, because the number of people driving electric vehicles is increasing. I think it's 20% of car sales this year are going to be electric, is what I've read. Or you might want to do an energy review of your home and, go completely down the route of maybe even getting a wind turbine installed. We know those right people that can help you do that.
Fantastic, superb. And those articles that you mentioned there, we'll put a link to those in the show notes. Just tell us before we go then, if people are interested in working with Sykes, where can they go to find out more information?
Sure. If you go to our website, so the Let Your Property pages, and you'll be able to access that Holiday Let Advice Centre and all of the great resources that we've got on there. If you're ready to make the next step, our phone number's on there, so you can just give one of our advisors a call, or if you prefer, you can fill in a contact form and we'll get in touch with you at a time that is convenient.
Superb. And we'll put all those links in the show notes. Claire, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Holiday Let Insider.
Thank you.
Great to chat to Claire Binns there from Sykes Holiday Cottages. Take note of those eco-friendly and accessible tips in order to appeal to more travellers. All right, that's it for today's episode. For more free education, tips and trends from the short-term rentals industry, visit houseplanet.club, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen to our podcasts and download a suite of ebooks for hosts and property managers. That's it for today's edition of Holiday Let Insider. Until next time, happy hosting.